Are you tired of your extension cords coming undone?
Are you tired of getting choked out by your polishing cord?
Are you tired of wrapping up cords?
Are you tired of your polishing cords not being long enough? Don't you ever wish you could just ditch those darn corded polishers that are causing you such headaches? Well, now you can. Stick around for a detailed review on the product. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Joel and Sal with Details, and today we're talking all about the Rupes HLR 75 cordless battery operated polisher. Guys, we've been saying we're gonna make a video about this. We bought it maybe within a month that it came out. If you guys are familiar with this, you know we love Rupes polishers. So with this one, we waited a little bit to kind of see how things were going to go with the battery operation, with battery time. We just wanted to know basic construction build before we actually spent the money on it. I want to say this kit here starts at $525. This kit includes the polisher, 2 batteries, backing plate, as well as 2 polishes and a few pads. So there's a lot of goodies that come with this here time machine.
What's that? It's a time machine, isn't it? Seems like a time machine.
So, as you can see, it's a very unique construction of this. The design is very ergonomic, very lightweight, and very, very balanced. It's a very balanced machine. But simply what we're gonna do today is, you know, there's other videos that have all the specs and all this stuff on it. We're gonna tell you, like we always do, the real world, the lowdown on
How it works in the field.
Yeah, is this thing going to be a good fit for me? Is it not? You know, there's a lot of money here. We let a lot of guys in our past schooling and training use it. There was some goods and some bad reviews based on it, you know, but we're just gonna go over and give you our thoughts after using it for about 3.5 months. What we did was we wrote down the pros and the cons of this unit, and I'm gonna hand mine off to Sal. He's gonna read through them. If he has any questions, I'll elaborate more on them. And
Joel's likes he has on here, at its lightweight, obviously he was balancing on one hand. We said balance, and that's what he also has on here. It's very balanced.
Yes, very, very balanced machine, very lightweight, very easy to handle.
It's cordless, so no cords. We all know dealing with no cords, man. You don't know how easy life is if you don't deal with the cords.
You saw the problems on the intro.
This little machine is powerful than
Yes.
its little brother.
This puts out a little bit more power than the LHR 75, guys.
Also, he has on here that it's small, and great thing is the batteries. Comes with 2 batteries. The charge time on those batteries.
I think it's like 25, 30 minutes. Kind of played with it. Let's just put it this way: the runtime, full runtime, you get about 30, 35 minutes. And I usually run my machines at about between 4 and 6. So that's not recommended if you want to save your pads. You're gonna run through some pads, but the way that we polish, I usually run it between speed 4 and 6, and this guy gets about 30 to 35 minutes, but the charging time on the batteries is less than that. So whenever it is time to change out, that other one's ready to go. So there's no downtime in between switching out the batteries, and literally switching out the battery takes about, I don't know, maybe a couple seconds. It's super easy, super convenient.
Some of the dislikes are it's a battery, so you have the battery problem.
Batteries are gonna be batteries, guys. So you know there's always gonna be issues with batteries. Some batteries charge faster than others. Some batteries tend to lose strength over time. Only time will tell with the hybrid technology and these batteries here. You know, I'm not sure how long the life of one of these batteries is, depending on usage, I'm sure. You know, some batteries, when you store them at certain temperatures, they tend to deplete power, or just kind of you know, kind of cycle through a little bit quicker. But you know, it's a battery, so there's pros and cons to batteries. So if you're not down with battery operated stuff, then you might have some issues with this. We currently run with the battery operated drill brush, a battery operated vacuum, and we have no problems with it as long as you're prepared and you have your chargers with you, backup batteries. Same thing with this guy here. It only comes with 2 batteries, but we haven't come across any circumstances where we needed more than 2 batteries.
If you probably look at any reviews on this machine, this is probably going to be the #1 thing. This trigger. The trigger on this thing, all it is, just like that, you press it, and it starts taking off.
I'm actually gonna say this is a pro and a con, because with it being placed here, guys, I'm able to operate this machine like this, vertical, as you know. I can do it upright polishing. I can do sideways polishing, which I generally do. You know, I'll use this position, I'll pivot from these positions as I'm polishing, but rarely with a corded machine do I go upside down. Unless I'm trying to get that very small area, the rocker panel at the bottom, very slightly, but you don't have good vision there. But with this guy here, I could simply put my palm on the trigger, polish, and still have a good idea of what's going on. If I'm, down on my knees or if I'm sitting down, I'm able to polish like this. So I'm not having to worry about interference of this hitting the ground. I can actually go this and actually use the entire area that's, if you're working on a low vehicle, your knuckles are going to be tearing up the concrete, but you can flip this bad boy over. So that's a pro. Also with this trigger, you get full extension, baby. You get full extension as you're using the trigger. The other ones, you gotta hit the trigger, hold on to it, and then hope nothing happens because you can't stop it at any moment. But this one here, you can literally put your finger on it and extend your hand. Basically, as far as your hand extends, that's as far as you can polish.
There's no lock on the trigger as well.
Without a locking mechanism, there's always a chance that it could get hit. You could change the speed. And if you're polishing an area that you're really trying to be intricate on, and you accidentally bump it in the speed, then you can start chopping, in certain areas underneath the rear view mirrors. There could be, it could be problematic overall. So that was it. That was my review after using it for a few months, guys.
Kind of same thing.
Yeah. So we're gonna see what Sal has to say, and if there's anything additional that he has, I'm sure some of them will be similar. But if there's anything extra, we can kind of, throw in there also and elaborate on. So first thing Sal said is for the pros is it's convenient, which is very convenient.
Yep. Just look at it. Here you go.
Yeah, it's super compact. So look at the size, guys. Like it's shorter. Yes, it's a little bit taller, but for the most part, this is like a whole nother polisher as far as size-wise. You don't have to worry about this size and weight. So yes, extremely convenient. You could throw it in a small drawer, like a lot of you guys in your mobile rigs have the compartment, the drawers. This thing you could just toss it in the drawer, fit in there nice and easy with all your pads. Like we're talking about, I don't know, man. We're saving a lot of room in our storage area with our polishers by putting this guy in here. Again, that falls into space saver. Sal, that was his number 2 pro, was this thing is a big space saver, which it is. It's an extreme. As you guys know, with the Rupes polishers, they have to be stored a certain way. They have to be, they recommend that they be upright. They recommend that there's no pulling on this. So we always have to have these set a certain way, which can always be problematic if you're working with a confined space. So again, this you put upside down, up, down, back, it doesn't matter. As long as the battery's out, I usually take the battery out and then just store it. With the other polishers, no problem. There's never had any issues with it. Again, it's a more balanced tool. Sal put it as a pro. Fast charging time. The batteries, also he put as a pro. And then, of course, there's no cords, which is just always it's always a plus to not have cords. So, big thing with this polisher is you're not compromising anything. We're not compromising power. We're not compromising, performance. We're not compromising consistency. We're not compromising even a downfall in the battery life as a battery. It works to its full potential until it dies. So it's working all the way like most of these other battery operated polishers. It's working at its full strength until it doesn't. Then it just shuts off on you. So there's no lag. There's no drop or decrease in performance as the battery's dying down. Also, another one I would say is just speed in general. As Sal's doing some of these, what we've been doing lately is we'll wash the vehicle together. Then Sal will start on the interior. As he's starting on the interior, I'm polishing. By the time I'm done polishing, it's already time to steam. So we're literally finishing up the polishing during a time where we would both be working on the interior of the vehicle. But as soon as the wash is done and the dry is done, I'm going straight. I'm just slapping a pad on, going straight into polishing. There's no setup time. So like the time I'd probably say is probably the biggest. We're probably saving about an hour when we do a detail with the polish, with a one step. We're probably saving about an hour in just a setup and breakdown, just all the little intricacies, grabbing the pads, all that stuff. So, and I just, I keep I keep extra pads in my pocket, and I keep the polish, the small bottle of polish in my pocket as well. So I have everything I need on my body.
So you see this is now our setup.
Yeah.
That's simple as this is part of our setup now.
Yeah. So one of the cons Sal said was battery life. Obviously, battery life is going to cause a small disruption in the business when you got to go switch it out.
Pretty soon you'll get the feel of it, what your battery life is, just by knowing the tool.
Yeah, and we haven't done any. This is the 3-inch polisher. And I know some of you guys love the 3-inch polisher, and that's your primary polisher, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you also have to set expectations. If you're going to be working with the 3-inch polisher doing an entire vehicle, it may work, but it may not work for some vehicles. Anything more than moderate defects, if you start having to get a little bit more aggressive, it's probably not going to be your best tool of choice. So you're already making a bad decision to begin with by trying to use a 3-inch polisher. Not to say it can't happen. For us, I use a 3-inch for all of our jeweling. If we're doing a low rider, if we're doing a hot rod, something getting ready for, because I don't need a lot of cut. I don't need a lot of, I don't need that much torque going into the vehicle. I'm just trying to shine it up, get it glossy, get it ready to go. Sal's last 2 cons are going to be sometimes you have to take the battery out. Yes, that is true. Yes. Where I don't know if there was a short in here or the contact just isn't, maybe we didn't push it in enough, but there's times where I'll hit the trigger and it won't start.
Yeah, you kind of have to reset.
And you have to kind of play with it, pull the battery out, and the battery locks in there pretty well, guys. As you can see, there's times where it's it's secure, but there's times where maybe we don't push it in all the way, or maybe if it just gets loose over the time of the polishing with the vibration, I'm not sure, or it could be defective. But it's not. Trust me, it's not something that I'm going to be complaining about and be like, oh, it's not worth it. So the pros on this are as of now are outweighing the cons. And the last thing is Sal said, no locking mechanism. The locking mechanism, it's one of those things that you don't realize that you like until you don't have it, because it is this. Imagine just having this thing and being able to hold it and literally just not have to, worry about the trigger at all. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, when you do a handoff, I mean, there's really not much you could grab it from without hitting the trigger. You know what I mean? You gotta, I don't know how we gotta hand it off like a knife or something,
Yeah, it's very, the way you handle it, you have to kind of change the entire way that you handle the machine. You can't set it down that you would, the way you would traditionally set down, where these guys here have, like Rupes and all the polisher brands have pretty much trained us to lay these guys down flat,
not so much.
With the pad up. This guy here, no. And I guess that brings me to another con, is when I have to set this guy down, I have to set it down in a position where it's on its side, but hanging off. I can't set it like this, because if you set it like this, now the backing plate's going to be touching a dirty surface, and you don't want to transfer that over to the paint. So you have to make sure you're kind of on an edge, setting it down, or simply holding it. So I guess that can be, that can be categorized as another con. But I like the design of it. It does take a little bit getting used to as far as the ergonomics, but I feel a lot less fatigued than I do with this guy here, man. This guy here, we're talking, I would probably say that's a good, 2.5 pound difference? Yeah, it's a big difference. And when we're not talking about a decrease in power, and we're getting the same performance, and we're getting consistent power and consistent results, I can't see myself going back to this anytime soon. Of course, this is going to have its place. If you're in a shop setting, if you're, if you just love corded machines, some people just are not gonna want this simply because it's battery. But, of course, this thing's a beast right here. But I think this one right here, let's just put it this way, we're buying our second one soon.
I would recommend, if you're very efficient in polishing, and already know what your results, what it's gonna look like, this is your go-to right here.
Yes.
You gotta know what you're doing to really maximize this tool.
Yes, because this is the type of tool I wouldn't want to spend my time having to do a bunch of pre-work on. This is when I know it's just simply a one step. I know when I'm simply, doing a scratch removal, when I'm doing something where I know I already have a plan laid out beforehand, how it's going to be done, I'm going straight into this, because that's where the time savings happens. It's not going to be your heavy corrections. It's not going to be your, you're not going to be trying to remove oxidation with this bad boy here. Although you can, but is that overall as efficient as possible? Is that overall simply is that if that's your best efficiency, like solution, I think you got to go back to the drawing board to begin with.
Great for testing, for test spots.
Yes, amazing for test spots. It's easy. You just grab it, you just slap a pad on, and you're ready to go. So shout out to Rupes for the design. They said they are going to be fixing this trigger soon. We just went to a Rupes training. We were invited by PNS to join a training class that we went through with Rupes, and they did kind of talk about a little specifics with this thing, as well as the development, where it's going to go in the future, and then also some of the improvements that they're going to be making on some of the new ones. This is the new version. I wanted it because Rupes, as we all know, it's top of the line. Everything else, with the exception of Flex. Rupes is an abrasive company. They're not out there making, car dryers. They're not making stuff. They're only making abrasive, solutions. So polishers, sanders, their whole DA system. If you guys haven't tried their DA or rotary system or their sanding system, it's ridiculous. It's so ahead of the game. So you guys might want to start stepping up in checking this stuff out, because it has excelled not only my performance and Sal's performance, but it's brought us to a level that we weren't at before. It's really bringing peak performance out of everything that we do when it comes to polishing. So you can always get good results with anything, but are you going to maximize those results? Are you going to get the peak performance you can get out of those results? For instance, if you are driving a BMW performance machine and you're putting the cheapest oil, the cheapest gasoline, the cheapest spark plugs, that's pretty much what you're doing by using Rupes pads and not using Rupes polishes and Rupes polishers, because you're not putting all the formula together that's needed for the best peak performance and the best outcome. So again, to recap, is this better? That's always going to be,
that's on you.
That's always going to be a preference of the user. But for us, we're not reaching for this one. This one's been in the box for a minute now, so this one's been on the sidelines. But who knows when this one may have to step up. If this one's not holding its weight, this guy might have to come through, because we already know this one's tried and true as a tank, as the rest of Rupes quality products are. So will this one test? Will this one stand up? We'll see. But for now, I'll tell you what, it's holding it down. But shout out to Rupes. Great machine. We're loving it so far. We're probably going to get number 2. I'm this close to pulling the trigger on number 2. But yeah, as far as our review of the machine, that's it. And reach out if you guys have any questions. And if you guys have the machine, put it in the comments. Let us know what you like. If you've tried the machine. A few of the guys at the training, at the Skolnum training, they got their feet wet with this machine.
And their backs wet.
So, let us know what you guys think of the machine. Let us know if you're planning on getting one. Let us know if you have any questions about the machine that we didn't answer. But until then, guys, you can find the machine at Detailed Image. I have it linked in the description below. Go ahead, check the detail shop. In there's a link for Detailed Image. I think there might even be a coupon code in there for you guys, but go check it out if it's something you're interested. Shoot us a message. Go pick one up. I also have the rest of the polishing. DA system in our detail shop that I'll leave linked in the description below. And if you guys want more review videos, let us know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll catch you guys on the next one. For Joel and Sal with Details, we're out.